Hi, 7th grade flutes. It's Mr. Y. Your finals for this year in the EE book are, let's see, number 192, B flat lever exercise, 193, arpeggio challenge, 195, technique study, and 197, chromatic challenge. I'm going to walk you through each one of these just a little bit to see any problems that might be there, and we'll talk about it, and then I'll play a full version of it too, so you can hear what it sounds like. These are challenging. You're not going to be able to just do these in class. You're going to have to practice these at home to make them really work. Okay, so for 192 B flat lever exercise, the first thing you need to know is where the B flat lever is. On the back of the flute, if you look carefully, the place you usually put your thumb is the bigger part of the B flat key back here. What I call the B flat lever is really, what I call the golf club key is really the B flat lever. It's this guy right here. So if you slide your thumb over just a little bit and put it on there, then you can play a B flat just with that, plus your first finger out here, not this finger over here, which is really helpful in some situations. Like for instance, if you were going quickly from a B flat to a C, that's really easy to do as opposed to that's going to be really hard. So if you use your B flat lever on the back, okay, then look at the first measure. You'll see there's little T's underneath some of the notes. That means you should play that with your thumb key, the thumb B flat key. Okay, so for instance, on the very first measure, you have G, and then A, and then B flat. You're going to play just with that first finger plus your B flat lever in the back, not adding this finger. Watch. G, A, B flat, A, B flat, A, G, da, da, B flat again, da, 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 da. It especially comes in handy in the third measure. Check it out. When you're using that thumb key. They don't have the T underneath the third note in the third measure. That is a high B flat. You should play that with the thumb key as well. Okay. The only place you don't play it in this one is where it says regular in the fourth measure, and that's because you're coming from a B natural to a B flat. So it's very hard to move this key back and forth and still keep the flute nice and steady so you get a good sound. So sometimes you are going to need to use the regular B flat, this B flat right here. Okay. Let me try 192. See if I can make it all things through. And you'll see that you do go back to the B flat thumb key in the last measure. That C, B flat, A, G, da, 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 da is a lot easier than trying to do it with your finger. Okay, measure 190, number 193 in the EE book is actually, I think, the most challenging one in your final this year because it goes pretty high. You have some high Ds. High D is not all that big a deal. Remember, just these two fingers here, plus your thumb in the back and your pinky. Really focused there. You do have some high E flats, which is, remember, every single finger on your flute, including both your pinkies. Okay, nice clear sound there. You got to blow really fast and really focused air for all of these. There are a couple of high F naturals. F natural, remember, is just like low F natural, like this. 3 fingers plus 1, plus your pinky, plus your thumb. Except you're going to pick up, discreetly please, your middle finger on your left hand. So it's first and third finger on your left hand, first finger on your right hand, pinky, and then your thumb in the back as well, too. Have to focus your air pretty good for that one as well. For instance, that's the last note in the first line of 193. We'll get to that in just a second. There are on the second line also a couple of E naturals. E natural is my least favorite note on the flute, the high E natural I'm talking about. It's your first and second finger and your first and second finger over here. So it's a little bit like low E natural except without this finger. You've got your thumb, two fingers, and then your pinky. And you really have to focus your air on this one or it won't come out. You got to find that exact sweet spot for it. Now, when you're going back on this song, you have to do some things where you go right from either D to E or from F to E. So you may want to practice just doing, like for instance, D to E. Or the high F to E. Before you put it in context. Okay, I'm going to start at the beginning here. There's a lot of tricky fingerings here, so you're going to want to go really slow at first. Probably practice it either one measure at a time or even just one little phrase at a time, one little 4-note chunk at a time. That one's not so hard. You can, by the way, use your B flat lever key here too if you want to, your B flat key. Third measure. So again, you've got some E flat to F natural stuff here. You may want to practice just. Also, I messed up the slur in the second part of the third measure. So let me do this third measure again. It's a little tricky. Okay, not that bad. You can practice it and get it really good. Second line. Yeah. This is our first E natural right here, the second measure there. It sounds wrong, I know, but it's not wrong. After that, you go to the E flat. Again, the B flat lever key really helps there a lot. B, F natural up top, remember with the middle finger up, then E natural, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, back to F, and then B flat again. So, and that last measure, that's a little tricky. This is, I think, like I said, the hardest one on your final. You probably are going to want to spend a lot of time just going over little bits of it at a time until you can get it all together and then put it together with a really good sound. Remember, sound is always the most important thing when you're playing any instrument, not just the flute. Good luck. For number 195, technique study, probably the most important thing to realize is that you don't have B flats and B naturals. So all your B's are going to be natural. So of course, obviously, you're not going to use your thumb key here for the B flat. They're all B natural. And you have E naturals too. You've got some fairly quick notes here, 16th notes, but remember, you don't have to go fast. Slow and good is always better than fast and bad. So something like. That's a totally fine tempo. Okay, slow and good is better than fast and bad. I'm getting all the staccatos, I'm getting all the right notes and right rhythms and slurs. Starting on the second part, right after the fine. Watch out for some of the rhythms here. In the last measure on the second line, you have the dotted 8th, 16th note thing. So, and then also that same thing in the second to last measure, right before the DC. It's actually exactly the same measure, exactly the same notes. In the last line, you have a little bit of chromatic stuff. The second measure there, watch out. A, G sharp, A, G sharp, then back to A, then G natural before the F natural. And then in the second measure, it's G, F sharp, G, F natural. So the second measure on the last line, you can hear A, G sharp A, G natural F, D. Then the next measure, G, F sharp G, F natural, E, C. So. It's not all that hard, but you may need to slow it down and practice it a little bit, get your fingers really under control there. Number 197, chromatic challenge. A little goof there. The important thing to remember at 197 is there's a lot of chromatic notes. You've got a lot of sharps and flats that carry through the measure, but each one of them is just like going up the steps and then coming back down. So it's the exact same notes coming down as going up. If you're not sure, look in your fingering chart and see that some of them are called by two different names. Also, you've got slurs and staccatos to worry about. The slurs on the first measure, slurs on the first line are first. slur, staccato, and and then on the second line, it's the backwards. The staccato is reversed. Da 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 da. In this one, when you have the B flat, you don't want to use your B flat key this time. You want to use the regular B flat because you've got to go fairly quickly back and forth between B flat and B natural. And to try to do that with your thumb, it will really upset the balance of your flute and make it not easy to get a good sound. So you want to use B flat here, this one right here, and then B natural here with just the regular B flat key on the back.